Hello everyone, my name is Marie and welcome to my channel and welcome to the very first episode of the Sustainable Sewing Adventures. For this first episode, I'm choosing to keep it very casual and it's a little bit of an unboxing / haul. I just came back from the second-hand shop, found some amazing goodies and fabric, and I also ordered some new fabrics online, which just arrived. So I wanted to share both with you so you could see there's a very big variety of options for you when you're looking for fabrics or sewing notions in a more sustainable way. It's winter here and the daylight is not around for much longer, so let's just quickly jump into it so I can show you. Alright, let's start with the stuff that I found at the second-hand shop. I found two beautiful fabrics. I don't always get lucky with fabrics in second-hand shops. It's a hit or a miss, and this time I got very lucky. They're essentially the same fabric, but just in different colors. The first one is a deep red. It's a bit more dark in real life, but yeah, it's this beautiful red. And then the other one is a gray, silvery fabric. I'm super happy with these. Usually you find good cottons or bed sheets, stuff like that. You don't often find knit fabrics. As you can see, it's quite thin and it's a little bit transparent. And I'm planning on making loungewear, PJs, maybe some yoga tops or something with it. And because I have two of the exact same, I could do some nice color blocking. We'll see what we make from it, but I'm really happy with this. In total, I paid 12 euros and it's a bit more than 2 meters per fabric. So I think that's super reasonable and I'm really, really happy with this. I also got two, I call them mystery bags. This is a bag full of embroidery floss, and this is a bag with all kinds of sewing notions. Let's start with this one. Open it. Let's get some scissors. All right. I use embroidery floss quite a lot, both for embroidery but also for wrapping gifts. And these colors, look, if this is an indication, these are my colors. There's a beautiful coppery rusty color, and then a light blue and a variety of dark blues. It's all from the DMC brand, so I know it's good quality, and I paid €1 for 9, so absolute steal. And then in the other mystery packet, I was mainly drawn to the needles. I can never have enough sewing needles, so that's why I bought it. Let's see what else is in there. So exciting! The first one, as I said, are needles. These are heavy-duty needles for jeans. And last time I made a pair of pants, I broke some needles, so it's good to have some extra. Then, what is this? Guys, this is meant to be. It's a ballpoint needle for knits. So it's exactly what I need for these. This is amazing, I'm so happy. Then more needles. So it's standard needles ranging from 70 to 100, and you can never have enough of these. Then we have, oh, that's cool. This, it's a little box with, suspense is real, snap buttons. And then there's this little guy. I'm assuming you put your snaps and then you can use it to put them in. Now I have like the prim plier type things to put snaps in, so I don't really need any of this. If I'm wrong, tell me. Like, I'm not sure if that's what it is. It might be something completely different, but that's what I guess it is. Then, what is that? This I have to open because I have no idea what it is. Oh, okay. So it's a little hook and like a hook and eye. I'm already dropping everything. It's a hook and eye kind of situation. That's pretty cool. All right. There is, and I love these, a set to make covered buttons. This is like the third time I think I found these packages in the op shop. So for some reason people don't want them or something. I want them, so I'm happy with it. And so basically it is, if you don't know, so it's basically a button that is in two parts. You put the fabric over it and then you get it stuck in between the two parts of the button. And then you have like nice matching buttons on your dress or whatever. I'm always happy to find more of them. Then something else you never have enough of, a needle threader. And then the last very important thing in this little bag is one safety pin. Alright, that was all. It's empty. I got all of this for €2.50, which I think is insane. Because when you think of how much needles cost, just for that, it's already enough. The sun is really starting to be in my face, so I have to... Let's move. Alright, that's better. So as I said, I also placed an online order for new fabrics, and this is my little pile of blues. I bought this at Sew for Planet, a online web shop in the Netherlands that sells sustainable fabrics, and it comes with a little, I don't know what you call them, like a seam gauge or something like that. They give you little samples in your order. It's not a necessity for me, but I guess for them it's just something they would throw away otherwise. So anyway, about the fabrics. The first one I bought because I want to make a t-shirt for my partner. It's quite stretchy. This color is called Indigo and I got 1 meter of it. It's made out of 95% organic cotton and 5% elastane. You can buy knits that are fully made out of cotton, so no elastane, which would be a more sustainable option, but I find that the recovery on those are a bit less good. So for the durability of the t-shirt, I think it's actually quite good that there's some elastane in it. So yeah, I'll have to wait and see how it holds up over time. When I hold it like this, it feels like a beautiful quality. I really like how it falls. The perfect t-shirt fabric, I think. The brand, wait, how do I say it? Fabrilogy. Anyway, it's a sustainable fabric brand. It's GOTS certified, and I paid €12.50 for it. To go with the fabric, I bought some ribbing. It's one of those ribs that come in like one piece. But I also got the same in another color. This is the color Frost. Yeah, this is the Frost color. I think it's beautiful together. And I wasn't sure yet if I was going to make contrasting neckbands or something, so I have the option to do both, and I think both would be great. The second fabric that I got is the same, but then in a different color. This is the color Dark Petrol. If you watched my last video, you know that I'm quite obsessed with this color, because I have a jumpsuit and a skirt out of this fabric. So yeah, I have 2 meters of this because my friend and I are going to make matching sleeping t-shirts, and then we want to maybe embroider something on it for each other. And I got us some matching ribbing. So I'm going to pre-wash those as I always do, and I hope that I can start sewing very soon. In total at Sew for Planet, I have 3 meters of fabric and then 3 different kinds of ribbing. And in total, I paid €57.50, including shipping. Compared to other sustainable fabrics, this is definitely not the most I've ever paid. But if you compare it to the second-hand fabrics that I just got, it's obviously a whole different story. The fabrics were wrapped in this craft paper. I reuse these craft paper things usually for wrapping gifts or as a protection layer when I'm painting or something, so these will definitely not go to waste. And then that was wrapped in a plastic mailer. It's supposed to be a recycled plastic. I'm not the biggest fan of these, but I do understand that they use them. Focusing on this packaging is something I find important because if I am going to buy sustainable fabrics, I would like it to also be fully sustainable. So let's make a little comparison. On one hand, we have the second-hand shop. The big pluses are, one, you're not buying new fabric. Sustainability-wise, that's, in my opinion, the best option because you're buying fabric that otherwise might go to a landfill. And then, of course, there's also price. You pay much less for a second-hand fabric than if you buy a new fabric. That's also why when people start out sewing, I often say, go to the second-hand shop, go to the op shop and buy some bed sheets or whatever you can find, because it's definitely going to be cheaper than if you go and buy new fabrics. The con is that it takes a lot of patience and time. You will not always come home with a lot of treasures. You have to be lucky, and some days you will come home with a huge bag of stuff, and other times you will come home and you will have nothing. Like what I found today was amazing, but that's definitely not how I come home every time I go to the op shop, which is probably a good thing because I don't need that much stuff. And then of course, you're kind of at the mercy of what is in the shop that day. You can't necessarily expect to find exactly what you need. Sometimes you will, maybe. It also has a positive side because this way you also get pulled out of your comfort zone a little bit. So it definitely has pros and cons. It requires a lot more creativity. Of course, this is just about this particular op shop experience. In future videos, we can go into buying secondhand fabrics online, which is also a pretty good resource to be able to search more specifically for what you're looking for. Now, let's talk about the online order. What I like is that you can really specifically look for what you want. You know the fabric composition, which is not always the case in op shops. You choose the color you want, the weight you want, everything you need is in one spot, and that's just so convenient. Buying online is obviously a very easy way to shop. You can just do it from the comfort of your couch. You might also live in a place that doesn't have fabric shops or sustainable fabric shops, and buying online gives you that access to sustainable fabrics without having to go super far to find them. Now, this also has a different side. I live in Belgium, and Belgium is a very small country. We do have some online sustainable fabric shops, not as much as, for example, the Netherlands, and I try to be mindful where my fabric is going to be shipping from. Then we're talking about price. Of course, I appreciate that not everyone is able to spend like 12 euros 50 or much more on 1 meter of fabric. It's a bit double because there's a lot of factors that make a sustainable fabric more expensive. It goes from the production process all the way to the shop that sells it to you. I don't believe that a fabric that you buy for like a few euros a meter can be positive for the people that are involved in the process of making the fabric. And at the same time, I also care about what products go into making my fabric. I care about the dyes, I care about the fibers. Certifications really do help you as a consumer because it gives a bit of a stamp of approval. Honestly, I don't know much about all of these certifications. I think I will use these videos to also dig a bit deeper to be a bit more informed and not just blindly follow labels. Alright, so I think that concludes my analysis of the two options. Both buying online and buying secondhand definitely have pros and cons, and it will kind of depend on your sewing style or the specific project you want to go for to see which option you would choose. If you're a person that likes to be inspired by fabrics, I think going to the op shop is a great idea. If you're a person that likes to sew very precisely what they need, what they want, I understand that buying online in a shop might be much easier. I really enjoy combining both, so I don't mind buying online every now and again. I also like to go into shops when I can and when it's safe to do so. I will go so I can go pre-wash these fabrics as soon as possible, and hopefully I can start sewing tomorrow when these fabrics are dry. Please do leave me a friendly comment if you have any suggestions for future videos within this sustainable sewing adventure. Stay tuned for the next video in the series, and I hope to see you very soon. Goodbye! Psst. Follow me on Instagram if you want to see more of my makes. Bye!